Hi, my name is Jewel. Thanks for joining me for this flow today. So I will be using plenty of props. And if you do have these props, that would be a great addition to your practice. I have a strap here. You can use a belt or any bathrobe, belt or strap or anything that's kind of wider than your shoulders, wider than your wingspan. I have a bolster here. You can always use a really big pillow or maybe a cushion from your couch. I have some blocks, which mine are made of cork. They have foam blocks for a little more comfort. These are a little more stable. And you can also use like Amazon boxes or even cans just to make the floor a little bit higher for certain poses we might want some more room in. And then I also have blankets. You can use any blankets. You can use, a sheet, anything that you can fold in many different sizes. These are really adjustable tools that we can use. So with that being said, take a moment, get yourself set up, and we'll get started in a lying down supine position. So we'll take ourselves to the mat. A couple options we have. You can lay flat down with the legs extended like you would in Shavasana. You can have the feet about mat distance, let the knees knock in together. Or you can have the feet together in midline, open the knees out for a little hip release, placing blocks underneath the knees in this position, bringing the floor a little closer, might feel good. And just let yourself settle for a few moments here. I like to teach with many different variations, many different options. I think of yoga as a breathing experience, a breathing exercise, and we just happen to be moving our body through various shapes. We'll be creating some heat in the body, creating some energy and movement to flow freely through our energy channels, through our body, so that we can settle and have a nice Shavasana, a nice constructive rest at the end of our class. So we'll take a few breaths together here to ground, to let the body start getting heavy, and to start tuning in. We'll inhale through the nostrils deeply. Maybe you hold it at the top for a moment. Exhale, sigh it out, release. Let all that air go, and right when you hit that bottom, give yourself a moment before you inhale deeply, holding it, and exhaling, letting yourself release. Maybe you let yourself fidget. Take another breath, inhale fully, hold it at the top. Maybe sip in just a little bit more air, a little more energy, a little more prana, life force. And exhale, stick out the tongue, sigh, let it feel good. If this feels good and this feels nourishing, please continue this deep breath. Otherwise, come back to normal breath, your natural pattern. We'll start tuning in to the body. Maybe you close your eyes and internally gaze all the way from the top of your head to the bottoms of your toes. And just give yourself a scan, sensing what's happening in your body, sensing any joints, any muscles that might be talking to you. Send your body a little bit of gratitude for carrying you here to practice on your mat. And then we'll turn the intention just a little bit deeper to the quality of the breath, noticing how the inhales feel, the coolness of that air, maybe the warmth of the exhales, noticing how it falls over your chest, over your body, maybe your neck. And continue just focusing inward into where that energetic center for you feels today. Maybe the energy is cultivated in your chest. Maybe it's cultivated in your hips. Maybe you feel energy in the face or the third eye center. And instead of imagining that breath just arriving through the nostrils and just leaving through the nostrils or through the mouth, can you start imagining that breath, that prana, the life force, seeping into your body through your pores, through the top of your head, through the back of your heart, and then expelling your exhales, you're releasing through the whole body. We absorb, we take in from a lot of sources and a lot of different environments. Can you feed yourself? Can you filter your skin to only take what you need, leave the rest outside of your body, and then release on the exhales, release what doesn't serve you, release what you don't need in this moment. And I ask that you carry this mentality with you through the remainder of this class. I will be giving many suggestions, cueing many asanas, which are poses and postures. You can feel free to take it, give your body that influence, and you can feel free to lose it and take something else and let your body flow in a different direction. This is your practice. You are your own teacher. My voice is just a guide. We'll take a couple more deep breaths here. If an intention starts to flood your mindset, invite that intention into your practice so you can dedicate your practice. If nothing arises for you right now, or if too many things arise, just give yourself the gift of practicing yoga, doing it for yourself, your physical health, your mental health, your spiritual health. If the feet aren't planted onto the ground, we'll plant them at this moment. Let the knees knock in together. Place one hand on the heart and the opposite hand on top of that. Let the neck grow long, roll the shoulders down. Repeat your intention to yourself as a heartfelt promise, a heartfelt manifestation. When that mental chatter, that chitta vritti starts getting the best of you at any point, feel free to flood your mentality with your intention and to flood your sense of hearing with your breath. If you'd like to invite Ujjayi breath into your practice, we'll bring a light constriction to the back of the throat to create an audible inhale and an audible exhale through the nostrils. We'll plant the hands onto the ground, bring the right knee to the chest, and we'll hug it in. Option to extend that left leg long, letting the heel come to the earth, letting that right knee come towards right armpit, maybe opening the hip a little bit. And now we'll take the knee over towards the direction of the left armpit. We can rock side to side, maybe find circles with that right kneecap, just letting the hip joint that will be giving it some attention, giving it some love, and noticing the subtleties of the hip joint, maybe pausing in a place that feels uncomfortable, dealing with that discomfort. And we'll straighten the leg up towards the ceiling. Option to grab your strap here. You can also hold behind the calf or use the strength of your own leg to hold up that foot. But I'll take my strap over the balls of my foot. Let my hands reach all the way down so my elbows are grounded and press like I'm stepping on the ceiling. You start to float that left leg just an inch off the ground for a little bit more sensation in the hamstring. Knit in the bottom ribs, planting the low back on the ground. We're just inviting and noticing the sensations in the backs of the leg, in the feet. If any tension arose in the shoulders, ask them to relax by rocking them back and forth a couple times. From here, we'll point and flex that top foot, Just noticing all those little muscles and seeing all the little bones, giving our feet some gratitude for holding us all day. Then we'll invite big circles into that ankle, a couple in one direction and a couple in the other direction. We'll take that strap away, bend the right knee, and we'll place it right over the left thigh. We can take this figure 4 stretch with this straightened leg, or we'll bend into that left foot, plant the foot straight on the earth. Emphasizing the space between the torso and the leg, pressing that right knee away from you. Stay here or use the strength of your legs to lift the figure 4 towards the chest. Maybe that shin comes parallel. Maybe you straighten the leg all the way up, or hold yourself, rock side to side. Let it feel experimental. Let it feel explorative. Just noticing what's coming up in different parts of your body. That right hip, sending it some breath. Okay. We'll slowly release both feet to the earth. They're parallel to one another, and we'll set up for a bridge pose. Maybe you walk the feet a little closer to the glutes, pressing the hands into the earth. Press the feet into the earth as you lift the hips up. We'll stay for an inhale, lengthening the neck. As you exhale, let the hips come down to the ground. We'll invite the left knee into the chest. Option to bring that right leg long, heel to the earth, and just sensing what the left hip is talking about. Maybe it feels similar or totally different to the opposite side. We'll cross the knee to point towards the right armpit, feeling a different part of that hip. Maybe you find crisscrosses along the body or circles with that left kneecap in both directions. Taking a gaze internally, not avoiding any points of discomfort you might feel in the hip, but letting yourself sit with it for a breath or two. We'll extend the left leg long to the ceiling like you're gonna step on the sky. I'll take my strap once again right over the ball of my foot. So not the arch of the foot, not the toes, but where the toe and the foot really connect. Straighten the leg as much as you'd like. Let the elbows drop down to the earth for support, and we'll flex that left foot. Drag the left hip down as the right hip rocks up to straighten out the hip. So if you had 2 little headlights, they'd be pointing directly upward. Maybe you press firmly into that left foot, resisting with the strap as you float the right leg just an inch off the ground, bringing a little more sensation into that top leg. Embracing the core, pressing the low back into the earth to protect the back, letting the neck get long, releasing tension from the toes, give them a wiggle. Good, one more breath. And we'll point the top leg and flex, looking at all those bones, sending a little gratitude. And when that feels good, we'll take circles in one direction and circles in the opposite direction. Flex that foot one more time. Take the strap away. We'll place it to the side in case we need it later. We'll bend the left knee, cross it over the right thigh. Stay here for your figure 4, or bend that right knee, plant the foot on the earth. We'll start by making a big space, just like a canoe, all the way in the area of the legs. Option to stay or invite both knees towards the chest. Maybe you grab onto the legs, keep using the strength of your legs, or extend, rock side to side. Again, you'll take some exploration. This posture, any posture, doesn't have an ending point, especially moving through asana to asana. It's not about where you are in each pose, but how you transition. We'll take another breath here. Maybe you open the jaw to release the mouth and jaw tension. And we'll plant both feet on the earth, taking one more bridge pose planting the hands onto the ground, pressing the feet and shoulders into the earth, lifting the hips up. This time, option to interlace the hands and reach the elbows and shoulders towards one another, or option to grab opposite sides of the mat. Maybe you lift to the heart as you rip the mat in half to either direction. One more inhale, lift the hips, strengthen the glutes. Exhale, release the hips to the earth. Invite one knee into the chest, followed by the other. Give yourself a little hug. Repeat that intention just one more time, sealing it in for the rest of our practice. And we'll roll onto your preferred side, and we'll meet in a tabletop position, pressing up. So hands are somewhere beneath the shoulders and the knees are somewhere beneath the hips. We'll start by taking a couple of cat-cows, letting the belly drop on the inhale and gazing up at the sky, pressing equally through all 10 fingers. Keep pressing through the hands as you arch the spine up to the ceiling. Gaze at the navel. Check in with the knees, pressing down. As you inhale, find your cow pose, belly drops, pressing the fingers away from you, gaze up. Exhale, maybe bend the elbows, release the spine to flex towards the sky, gaze at the navel or the toes behind you, let the head drop. Come to a neutral spine together, and now we'll take isolated movements in our cat-cow. So first, just like your pelvis is pouring out a bowl of water, we'll just tilt the pelvis, then let the belly drop, let the shoulders rise as the chest sinks, and then let the head gaze up. And we'll take it from the back again, letting that pelvis spill in the opposite direction, low back, middle back, shoulders, and finally the head. We'll do that once more. First, starting with the pelvis, then the belly, the shoulders, the back of the heart sinks, finally the head. Maybe you stick out your tongue for a final release. Slowly, pelvis rocks in the opposite direction, middle back, shoulders, press through the hands as you let the head drop entirely. We'll meet in a neutral spine. Wag the tail to the right, gaze towards the right heel. Wag the tail towards the left, gaze at the left heel. If this feels good, continue, but I'll give you 4 breaths just for organic movement. Maybe you find some barrel rolls. Maybe you shift the hips forward and release them back towards a child's pose. Maybe you sway your weight into circles in both directions. After your 4th exhale, your final exhale here, playing around, we'll spread the fingers wide, lengthen them one handprint towards the top of the mat, tuck the toes, and lift the knees an inch off the ground, bear plank. We'll shift the shoulders over the wrists once more and slowly straighten the legs, lifting the hips, finding your downward facing dog. I have blankets under my heels here. If you'd like to bring some blankets under your heels to let them relax, please do. Otherwise, they can be floating in the air as they anchor down, pressing through all 10 fingers, tilting the tailbone up to the sky, let the head drop. If you'd like to take some movement in your down dog, maybe walking the dog by bending one knee and then the other, please do. Otherwise, find stillness. Hands are pressing away. Back is lengthening. Head is reaching towards the ground. As you inhale, we'll roll forward to plank position and we'll hold for a full breath. Inhaling here. We'll exhale to lift the hips, find downward facing dog. Lower the knees, and we'll sit the hips back for a child's pose, letting the forehead connect with something on the earth. Taking an active child's pose, reaching the fingertips towards the top of the mat, maybe pressing so firmly into the hands but the elbows pop up off of the earth. Take one more breath here. Maybe give the forehead a rock side to side. We'll take an inhale together. Exhale, release. Inhale to shift forward into tabletop position. Exhale, tuck the toes, lift the hips, downward facing dog. We'll flow, letting the left foot come to midline. Right leg reaches high towards the sky. We'll bend the knee, open the hip out to the right, take big circles in one direction and big circles in the opposite direction. Inhaling, lifting the leg high, gazing forward. Exhale, come through a knee to nose, arching the spine, trying to kiss the knee. Plant the right foot between the hands, drop the left knee to the earth. Inhale to hug the thighs together, reach the arms up, Anjaneyasana. Option to have the arms in a V, pinkies curled towards one another, or palms at heart center. Inhale to grow tall, maybe lift the heart. Exhale to sink the legs, sink the hips. One more inhale, float the right toes, wiggle them, and then set them down. Continue to exhale and sink. One more breath, inhale, maybe lift the heart, lift the fingers. Exhale, shift the hips back, straighten the front leg, flex the toes back towards the face, reach forward. One more inhale, pull that right hip back to meet the left, maybe scoot the heel back. Exhale to fold over yourself, Ardha Hanumanasana, half splits. I'll take my block here underneath my hands on its highest setting so I can reach my chest forward, aiming, if I had like a little laser beam in my heart, it would be reaching forward all the way in front of my mat, not necessarily downward towards my mat. One more inhale, find length. Exhale, fold forward, trying to reach your head towards the front of the room. We'll plant the right toes on the ground, bend into that knee. Take your blocks to their lowest setting. Tuck the left toe, lift the knee. Left hand stays where it is, right arm reaches high to the ceiling. Twisted lunge. We'll drop the right hip down towards the mat. Let the left heel come over the toes. Right arm reaches high, neck is long. Exhale, bring the hand to that block. As you inhale, find strength in the legs, fingertips on the block. Exhale, press into the block, step back to plank position. We'll take an inhale here, letting the body get long. Exhale to lower the knees. Inhale, gaze up. Exhale, bend the elbows halfway, chaturanga. As you inhale, press yourself up to your knee down plank. Exhale to tuck the toes, lift the hips to downward facing dog. If the blocks feel good under your hands here, you can keep them here. Otherwise, we'll release the hands to the ground and we'll keep the blocks there for later. Right foot to midline, inhale, left leg high. Bend the knee, open the hip. Maybe you get a crack. We'll take that knee in opposite directions a couple of times, letting the knee make circles. Next, inhale, shoot the leg up, straighten the leg, gaze forward. Exhale, arch the spine, bring the knee to the nose, step the left foot between the hands, right knee comes down. Hug the thighs together on the inhale, heart opens towards the front of the room. Exhale, settles into your lunge. Maybe hands come to heart center, maybe a goalpost. As you inhale, lift the heart, lengthen the neck. Exhale to sink the hips towards the front of the mat, downward. One more inhale, maybe you lift the fingertips, curl the pinkies in. Exhale to rock the hips back, straighten the front leg, flex the toes. Pull that left hip back in line with the right. Inhale to reach up. Exhale to fold forward. Like you're lifting a heavy platter or serving something in front of you. One more inhale, serve it forward. Exhale to release the hands to blocks. or the mat. Feeling free to explore in this shape also. Maybe you fan the feet back and forth, or bring the whole foot a little bit more to the left, continuing to pull the left hip back for a nice stretch in the hamstring here. And we'll come back. One more inhale, find your halfway lift, torso's long. Exhale to fold forward. We'll start to plant the foot, bend into that left knee, blocks on their lowest setting. Tuck the right toe, lift the knee, right hand stays, left arm lifts. Pull that left hip down, strengthen the back leg, lift the left fingers to the ceiling like you're being pulled up to sky. One more inhale, maybe you gaze at the left thumb. Exhale, plant left hand onto the block. Take your inhale, find length, trust the legs. Exhale, step the left foot back to meet the right, plank position. Inhale, gaze forward. Exhale, lower the elbows. Maybe you lower the knees too. Inhale for your back bend. We'll take a baby cobra. You can press up to king cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale to use the hips and the abdomen to lift yourself to downward facing dog. Maybe you keep the hands on the blocks. Maybe you lose the blocks. We'll take 2 breaths in downward facing dog. Inhale to lift the heels. Exhale to lower the heels. One more like that. Inhale to lift. Exhale to lower. This time we'll inhale to lift the heels. Keep them lifted. Exhale, bend the knees. Let the abdomen come close. Step, hop, or jump to the front of your mat, landing in a forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift. Maybe fingertips come to blocks. Exhale, fold, hinging at the hips. Plant the feet, bend the knees. Inhale to reach all the way up, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, palms at heart center, Tadasana. Letting the elbows come wide, finger pads pressing against one another. Thumbs are gently pressing against the heart. Grow tall. Let the toes come off the earth and ground through all 4 corners of both feet. Light bend in the knees. The back is straight, not hunched or bending. And we're standing tall like a mountain. Samastitihi, equal standing. Take a full breath here, connecting with your heart center. Exhale out the mouth. Bring the arms out, up and over the head. Maybe a gentle lean back. Exhale to hinge at the hips forward, fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift, let the spine grow. Exhale, bend the knees, plant the hands, step the left foot far back, setting up for a high lunge. Trusting your legs, inhaling, reaching the arms up, heart shines forward. Exhale to settle into this pose. Inhale to reach the fingertips high, shift the weight forward. Exhale, twist to the right, left arm forward, right arm back. Take your inhale, spreading from the collarbones to fingertips. Maybe lean back, letting right arm come towards left leg. Beautiful. One more inhale, bend into that right knee. Exhale, we'll cartwheel the arms open, spin the left heel down, warrior 2, Virabhadrasana 2. Inhale to relax the shoulders. Exhale, bend into that front knee. Inhale, flip the right palm, reach forward to tilt it back, paint the sky, reverse warrior. Exhale, straighten that front leg, reverse triangle. Inhale, torso comes up right, arms to a T. Heel toe that left foot in, shift the hips back, reach all the way forward. When you can't reach forward anymore, we'll drop that hand to a block on the inside or outside of the leg. Left arm reaches high to the ceiling. Option to keep reaching the arms in opposite directions, or maybe flip the top palm, bend at the elbow, find a bind in Trikonasana, triangle pose. As you inhale, gaze up at the ceiling. If it's comfortable on the neck, exhale to lift the heart, lift the left hip point open. Inhale, release that arm if it's bound up to the sky. Exhale, we'll close off the body towards the mat. Take hold of that other block. We'll set up for pyramid, Parsvottanasana. Let the feet come to opposite sides of the mat. Left toes maybe at a 45-degree angle. Pull that right hip point back to meet the left. Inhale, come to the fingertips. Exhale, fold forward over yourself. This is a beautiful opportunity to explore putting different amounts of weight in different parts of your feet on this front leg. Maybe you flex the toes back towards you. Maybe you press into the toes and lift the heel an inch. Maybe you lift the toes and spread them out and try to place them down one by one. Wherever you are, 2 more breaths in this pyramid pose, finding length and only a little bit of weight on the hands. 1 more inhale, let the spine get long. As we exhale, we'll heel toe the right foot to midline and find a high lunge. Letting our torso inhale, reaching the arms up. Exhale to plant the hands onto the ground. Step back to plank position. Take a flow or come to downward facing dog. As we inhale, shifting forward. Exhale, bending the elbows halfway. Inhale, upward facing dog or your heart opener, cobra pose perhaps. Exhale to lift the hips. Downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. We'll take 2 breaths in our down dog, always knowing you can come down to child's pose for a little rest. And when you're ready, we'll take right foot to midline, left leg reaches high. Gaze forward, and we'll place that left foot down. Right leg reaches high. We'll gaze forward and set that foot down next to it. We'll inhale to lift the heels. Exhale, keep the heels lifted, bend the knees. Bottom of the exhale, step, hop, or jump to the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, pour over yourself, Uttanasana. Bend the knees, plant the feet. Inhale, reach the arms all the way up, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, palms at heart center. 1 breath in mountain pose. Exhale to release the heat. Inhale, arms out to the side, up and over the head. Maybe gentle lean back. Exhale, pour over yourself, hinging at the hips. Inhale, halfway lift, let the spine grow. Exhale, bend the knees, plant the hands, step the right foot far back, setting up for a lunge. Inhale to lift the heart, reach all the way up. Torso is growing as you reach. Exhale to settle into that pose, hips reach down. 1 more inhale, grow the side bodies, lift the fingers. Exhale, twist to the left. Reaching right arm forward, left arm back. Continue reaching through the fingertips like someone's pulling you, or maybe drop that back arm, reach the right arm high. 1 more inhale, open the heart. Exhale, cartwheel the arms, let the right heel find the earth. Warrior 2, Virabhadrasana 2. Inhale to lengthen through the fingers. Exhale, gaze past left middle finger, sink that left knee. Inhale, flip the left hand, reach forward, tilt it back to paint the sky, reverse warrior. We'll straighten that front knee, reverse triangle. Lifting the torso upright, bringing the arms to a T, heel toe right foot in, shift the hips to the right, reach all the way forward. I'll grab my block here, letting the hand come all the way down, fingertips grazing the block. Right arm reaches high. As you inhale, we'll open the chest, open this right hip point to the sky. If you'd like to find a bind, lift the right hand, release it to the back. Snuggle it in that left hip crease. One more inhale, maybe you gaze up. Exhale, release that right arm to the sky, lengthening through both arms here. One more inhale, reach the fingers. Exhale, close it off. Heel toe the left foot all the way to the left as we find pyramid pose on our second side here. Right toes, maybe at a 45-degree angle. Pull the left hip back in line with the right. Inhale, fingertips to blocks. As you exhale, fold over yourself, releasing your heart to the mat. And again, exploring how it feels to put weight towards the toe mound, the inside of the foot, the heel, the outside of the foot. Maybe you lift the toes and try to set them down one by one in order. As you inhale, lift the heart, gaze forward. Exhale to fold it down. We'll heel toe the left foot to midline, scoot the right foot back just a bit, setting up for a high lunge. Inhale to lift the arms, raise the torso. Exhale to lower the hands to the ground, step back to your plank position. As you inhale, spread the shoulders away from one another. Exhale, bend the elbows, shift forward. Inhale, find your back bend, upward facing dog, shoulders are back. Exhale, use the abdomen to lift the hips, downward facing dog. We'll take the knees down to the earth, release the forehead to the ground or a block, and we'll bring the hands to a prayer, letting that prayer reach to the back of our head so the thumbs connect behind our neck. We'll pause here for 3 breaths, having ourselves turn inward on purpose for introspection, giving yourself a check-in, another body scan like we did in the beginning. Say your intention to yourself one more time. And you'll meet me in downward facing dog, however you'd like to get there. We'll take another flow, adding on to ours from last time. As you inhale, lift the right leg high, gaze forward. Exhale, step the right foot between the hands, setting up for a lunge. Inhale to reach the arms upright, torso is long. Exhale, spin the left heel down, open the hips, warrior 2. Inhale, flip the palm, reach forward, tilt it back. Exhale, straighten the front leg. Inhale, tilt it up, reach all the way forward, heel toe that foot in, Trikonasana pose. And we'll stay for a moment, reaching that left arm high, opening the hips, opening the heart to the sky. The only thing that will change is bending that right knee, maybe lengthening the stance for extended side angle. Right arm reaches alongside the ear, palm facing down, or if you'd like to bind, let the elbow bend behind you, snuggle that finger into the hip crease. If you'd like to go for a full bind here, you can release the right arm underneath you. Try to grab hold of your fingers here. We'll use the right arm against the leg to push the left hip out, open the heart. Take a full inhale. As you exhale, choosing to stay in the bind or releasing that hand to a block, we'll take 1 breath before setting up for Ardha Chandrasana, half moon. As you inhale, heel toe the left toes about halfway up the mat. We'll take our block to the right top corner. All of our weight onto this right foot. Left toes get loose, they get light, maybe they float, or maybe you flex and lift that left leg hip height. Left hand can stay on the hip for stabilization or reach the fingers high. Toes are facing me. This leg is in neutral, kicking behind us. Challenge to float the right fingers off that block for a moment. One more inhale, maybe gaze up. As you exhale, bend the right knee, slowly let the right foot land as far back as you can, warrior two. Inhale, gaze forward, bend into that right knee. Exhale, cartwheel the hands down to the mat. Step it back to plank position. Maybe you take a flow, one-legged, or straight to downward facing dog. When you land in downward facing dog, take 2 breaths, letting the heart rate settle from your work. This time, right foot comes to center, left leg reaches all the way to the sky. Gaze forward, step that foot between the hands. As you inhale, reach the arms overhead, torso comes upright. Exhale, spin the right heel down, open the arms over the legs, warrior two. Inhale, reach forward, tilt it back, reverse warrior. Now exhale, straighten left leg, reverse triangle. Inhale, torso comes upright, shift the hips back, reach all the way forward, drop that left hand, Trikonasana, maybe on top of a block or the shin. We'll stay for a moment, opening the heart, opening the right hip, grounding down through our pinky toes. As you inhale, gaze up at the right hand. As you exhale, bend that left knee. Maybe you lengthen your stance. We'll find extended side angle, reaching the right arm over the ear, palm facing down, finding a massive line of energy between right toes and right fingers. One more inhale, gaze up. If you'd like to invite that bind, reach the elbow behind you, snuggling the fingers into left hip crease. For a full bind, we'll drop the chest, reach the left arm underneath the leg, maybe connect the fingers, use the arm-leg connection to open the heart. As you inhale, create space between the neck and the hips. Exhale to release that bind or stay if you're feeling it. Inhale to reach the arm up, right. And we'll exhale to heel toe the right foot in, preparing for half moon. Block will come to the left top corner of the mat. Release your weight into that left foot with a slight bend in the knee. Maybe toes of the right foot stay floating. Maybe they flex, lift half height, and reach the arm up, creating space, taking up space. Toes of the right foot are facing me. Gaze up at the hand if it's comfy on your neck. Maybe you challenge yourself with a balance. One more breath, open the body, get big. Exhale to bend the left knee, land the right foot all the way back, warrior two. Inhale, sink the leg, gaze forward. Exhale, cartwheel the hands down to the mat, kick it back to plank, maybe take a vinyasa or straight to down dog. When you arrive in downward facing dog, we'll take 3 breaths here. We'll start to slow it down just a little bit, taking baby steps up to the top of the mat, finding your blocks underneath you on their highest setting. We'll heel toe the feet out to the edges of the mat, maybe hip height, maybe wider, and we'll find a forward fold. Letting the toes, maybe pigeon toe, stay straight, or find their way out, whatever's comfortable. Bending the knees, letting the elbows release to the blocks, or maybe you put blankets or more blocks for your head for comfort. We'll take 3 breaths in this forward fold, encouraging introspection, encouraging turning to yourself and trusting yourself. If you have any extra props, we'll take them away. Inhale to halfway lift. Exhale to fold it down. Inhale to plant the feet, reach the arms all the way up. We'll heel toe the feet back to touch or hip height or hip distance. Pause for a moment in Anjali Mudra, prayer mudra. Taking a full inhale and a full exhale. We'll try crow pose, a balancing pose. And if you're not interested in using the energy for crow, we'll take Malasana squat, heel toeing the feet out towards the end of the mat, toes facing out, and we'll squat down, maybe sitting on a block. To open the hips, pressing the elbows or the hands into the knees for a little self-adjustment. And if you're interested in crow, we'll take a block right in the middle of our mat at the top as a little crash pad, just to help us get away from the fear of falling. We'll take the knees and the feet about hips distance, lift to the tippy toes. From here, we'll start to bend the knees slightly outward, reaching the hands to the ground. So we're in a forward fold on our tippy toes. We'll place our knees as high up towards our armpits as they can go. Place the forehead on the block. Maybe you lift one toe of one foot. Maybe you lift the opposite foot. Maybe you try to lean into that block and lift both feet, pointing them up towards the sky. Wherever you are, Malasana or crow, take one more full breath to challenge yourself. And we'll all meet in Malasana, eventually coming down to sit. We'll take a series of seated forward folds, and I'll face you, starting with Janu Shirshasana, forehead to big knee pose. So we'll take a bend in that left leg, open it out to the side, just like a seated tree. Reach the arms up as we lengthen the side body. Exhale to release and hold that platter once again. As you reach, rolling the shoulders back, reaching with the forehead. Exhale to let the heart sink. Maybe you take a block onto the shin to rest your forehead, finding a sense of nourishing discomfort, a place that you can stay in stillness for just 4 more breaths. Inhaling to find length in the spine. Exhale to let your hips get heavy, get denser into the ground. 1 more breath, opening the heart. Exhale to reach the forehead towards the big toe. Using the abdomen strength slightly to crawl yourself back. We'll turn towards the bent knee this time, maybe opening that long leg wider at an angle. We'll take our block on the inside of the right leg. Inhale to lift the arms up. Exhale to release the right arm to the block as a side bend, reaching the left fingers long. Maybe you let the fingers come down to the toes. Maybe you extend that energy line through the side bodies. And wherever you land, just find stillness, find power in your movements and your transitions to stay and breathe. 1 more breath to reach. Use the abdomen muscles to let the torso come upright. We'll take the block to the side for now. Left leg gets long and we'll shake it out. We'll take that to the opposite side as well, bending the right knee and letting it come out to the side like a tree pose, letting ourselves find a stance that's seated and active with a straightened spine. We'll reach the arms up, lengthening the side bodies, hinging at the hips, holding that heavy platter. We'll take a breath here, serving it in front of you, like a present for your best friend. Exhale to release the hands to the earth, maybe taking a block to the leg and releasing the forehead down. This is an active pose that should not hurt, not cause numbness or tingles, but a good deal of sensation. So let yourself sit in that discomfort, knowing it's going to be over soon. 1 more inhale, find length. Exhale, fold, forehead to big toe. Crawl yourself up place the block on the inside of that left leg, and we'll open the legs just at a little wider of an angle, facing the bent leg this time. Inhale to reach the arms up. Exhale to drop left arm towards that block. Reaching the right arm long towards the front of the room. Maybe you close off a little bit to grab the toes. Whatever feels the more opening, the more lengthening for you. Checking in with the neck, that it's sitting on the pedestal created by your spine and not hanging off to one side or the other. Continue to inhale and reach. Exhale to use the abdomen to lift yourself upright. Letting the legs connect, lengthen together, shaking it out just a little bit. And we'll come to lie on the back. We'll take a couple of back bends and bridges here, knowing that it's always an option to take restorative. So if you feel that you're pretty sick of working at this point, we'll take a block, lift the hips, and place the block on its lowest setting underneath the hips. If it's comfortable to walk the feet out, knock the knees in, please do so. You can even try lengthening the legs, letting the heels come to the earth for a very nice hip flexor stretch. To add to this mini back bend, we can lift the arms up and let the thumbs extend all the way back until they find the ground. This might be a lot on the abdomen or a lot on the hip flexors. So just be careful and be honest with yourself about when you need to come out. If you'd like to take a more active bridge pose, you can join me in removing that block, pressing the hands to the earth, walking the feet as close as they can towards the glutes, rolling the shoulders back and down so we're no longer putting pressure on the back of our neck. As you inhale, press into the head, the fingers, and the toes. Stay for the exhale. Inhale to lift the hips. Exhale to release them to the earth. Maybe you compare how this felt with your first bridge pose. If you're still with me for bridge, we'll take a block between the knees just to give ourselves a little more action. As we inhale, we'll lift the legs, squeezing that block, maybe heel-toeing the feet to where they need to be. Grab the opposite sides of your mat and pretend you're ripping it apart. Let the chest rise, like you're about to press your chest towards the wall behind you. One more inhale, releasing tension from the face. Exhale, release the hips. Take that block away for now. We'll bring the knees into the chest. Give yourself a little squeeze. And we'll rock to one side, coming towards the tabletop or seated to set up for our twist. So we will be using our bolster for a restorative twist. So we'll take our bolster and we'll take our two blocks. One block will be on its medium setting, and one block will be on its high setting. We'll take the bolster, let it lay right on top of the block, just like a little tower here. We'll take our left hip right to the bolster, and the knees are facing the long end of your mat. We'll start to turn towards the bolster, releasing the chest onto that comfortable space, letting the arms find where works for them. Maybe you gaze in the same direction as your knees. Maybe you gaze in the opposite direction of your knees. Take a moment to get comfortable here so you don't need to hold on and use your energy. We'll be here for a minute, letting yourself fully release into your props, letting gravity help you do the work. Maybe wiggling the toes if you need to release any tension, blinking the eyes open wide, and then pressing the eyes closed shut, then letting your eyes just relax. Maybe wiggle the nose, starting to slow down, starting to slow the heart rate. Take 2 more breaths here.